Every step of the way, Fox News has lied about every single part of this. They didn't have access to the information. And look, I didn't have access to the information either. I don't usually trust the federal government. I don't at all, as a matter of fact. I think they're liars. I think they're crooks. I think they're awful. And I still think that, like, they will flub this. And I thought that they would flub this. And I still personally am a little worried that they're going to flub it. But having said all that, if you were to ask me, you know, did Trump violate these rules? Like, is there a reason? Is there grounds for this raid? Absolutely. I want to see more, though. I want to see more because Fox and Friends is turning to Dan Bongino to assess the latest DOJ filing on the Mar-a-Lago shit. And, of course, everyone's favorite psycho, Dan Bongino, is popping off on it. Here is a U.S. governor. Oh, God. Forgive me. I will try not to simp here. Here's a U.S. governor taking the position that maybe the FBI planted the classified documents, which Trump himself says are real and his, but that he secretly declassified. And those documents should be made public.
I guess the question to all of you is what was in those documents and folders? Do you know?
No,
Top secrets.
don't.
And we deserve to know
what they say.
And I don't know if the DOJ and FBI can be trusted to tell us what was in there. That's the thing. You can see folders. You can see big words on the. Do we know that that is really what President Trump brought to his home? Do we know that he put them there? Do we know what's inside? That's why I think it's important that the DOJ bring in someone who's outside of this, that's a neutral individual that can look at this and really build some trust back in our justice system. This has been a political fight against President Trump. They've attacked him for years and years. They want to destroy him. That is why we can't trust them to do this alone.
When will they tell us what's in those documents?
I really do think that they just know. They know that their audience is so stupid. That's why they're like, well, look at all these big words, don't you know? There's big words. You can put big words on a document all you want, but what is it? We must know.
Documents the day before the election?
You know, yeah, I'm guessing, or the day after. You know, this is all political. They've been picking up this issue for years and years, and they're going to use it to their advantage to see what they can do to manipulate an election again.
Yeah, by the way, they're not doing that, which they should. Scoop, federal prosecutors likely to wait until after the November election to announce any action against Trump if they determine he broke any laws. Sources tell. Under DOJ policy, no investigative steps 60 days before an election. This year, that's September 10th. But it's not his election. And also, the DOJ has violated that rule. Jim Comey violated that rule. Like, the FBI literally violated that rule. The 90-day rule was violated by the FBI. I just don't get it. The DOJ decision makes it unlikely anything would be announced on whatever charges will or won't be filed against Trump until after November 8th. While he isn't on the ballot in November, Trump has endorsed candidates who are, and he leads a fierce political movement. That's great, man. Too big to fail, even in this system. Too big to fail is just an invention of capitalism. And it exists in every facet of our lives. Trump's not running for re-election. And even if he was, he wouldn't be running for it until in the next 2 years. Even then, he's just really powerful. He's just really influential, so he can do what he wants, you know? Fuck it. He recently demanded that he be reinstated as president or a new election held. Trump also might declare he's running for a president prior to November. Nice, dude. Great. That doesn't mean anything because the presidential race is not for another 2 fucking years. God, I hate these people so much. I hate every part of this. Okay, where the fuck was... Oh, yeah, here she is. Beautiful princess.
In particular.
Here's Dan Bongino. The emerging position on Fox is that the FBI is so intrinsically untrustworthy that you can't believe the documents marked top secret, TSI photographed in the filing are actually classified.
If I am the FBI and I'm the Department of Justice and I'm so confident that the president was so egregious, we had to storm the gates after waiting for 3 weeks and 3 days with this warrant. If I'm so confident, I'd welcome the special master. Get me out of it.
Yeah.
You check it out. But that's the picture we're looking at right now.
Yeah, I love the pictures they're showing there, too. Top secret covers. Top secret covers are covers. And you're assuming, by the way, taking the... I get it. A lot of it's blacked out, redacted. I'm not stupid. But here's the point here. You know, I dealt with a lot of classified material in the Secret Service, too, like motorcade routes. And then, Brian, I've got news for you. After the motorcade route is run and 100,000 people saw the motorcade route, it's not classified anymore. I'm not telling you those documents aren't classified because I'm not a leftist media loser who jumps to conclusions. I'm simply telling you, jumping to the conclusion and assuming the FBI's story and the DOJ that it is classified is equally dumb. Not to mention there's precedent here, right? We deal with legal precedent. There's a 2012 case everybody conveniently leaves out, Judge Amy Berman Jackson, in a Clinton case where he allegedly had classified documents, where Judge Jackson said the president has the sole discretion, that's a quote, to manage his own record.
Wait, but he was the president. Wait, come on, dude. He was literally still the president. What? Like, Trump is not the president. What is happening right now? He was the president, dude. What the fuck? Donald Trump, can someone explain to Dan Bongino Donald Trump is no longer the president? Can someone explain that? Am I misunderstanding what he's saying?
Because I'm not a leftist media loser who jumps to conclusions. Not to mention there's precedent here, right? We deal with legal precedent. There's a 2012 case everybody conveniently leaves out, Judge Amy Berman Jackson, in a Clinton case where he allegedly had classified documents, where Judge Jackson said the president has the sole discretion, that's a quote, to manage his own records.
Yes. When you are the president, technically you do have discretion. Am I misunderstanding what he's saying? He said 2012, Clinton wasn't president in 2012. He was talking about a Bill Clinton case in 2012. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about then. Oh, this is the new Republican talking point. Here it is. Throw him in jail. Throw Bill Clinton's 700-year-old ass in jail too. I'm so down. Presidential records found right in Clinton's drawer. Judge's ruling gives precedent to the Trump team. A 2012 court case denying access to White House audio tapes kept in former President Bill Clinton's sock drawer after he left office could help the Trump legal team in his battle to retrieve its records that the FBI seized from Mar-a-Lago this month. The 10-year-old court ruling, issued by U.S. District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson, rejected arguments by a conservative watchdog group that sought access to dozens of tapes recorded by Mr. Clinton and historian Taylor Branch during his administration. Judge Jackson ruled that the tapes belonged to Mr. Clinton, even though the discussions included a broad range of presidential matters. The court ruled that the National Archives and Records Administration had no power to seize control of them because Mr. Clinton had used his authority under the Presidential Records Act to declare the recordings. Wait. But he did. He said that so he did this while he was president and followed the procedure, a thing that Trump didn't do. And they're probably not the same level of like top secret classification, I would suspect. Wait, what? This is like an entirely separate case. If Trump had done this, there would be no case to be had here. By the way, Washington Times is a right-wing operation, obviously. I'm just trying to figure out what the right-wing reactionary take is here. Also, there's varying degrees of classification. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, then, lock his ass up too. I'm down to fucking throw Bill Clinton in a federal prison, straight up. And they weren't classified docs. They were literally private combos between him and his biographer. Yes. Everything the president touches is technically has like some level of classification. You can't just, for example, if you write something with a Sharpie on a piece of paper as the president, there is a specific way of archiving that information and then also throwing that information and like burning it. You know what I mean? Like, everything the president touches is technically super, super classified, right? But there is a declassification process that you can go through if you want to keep some mementos from your time as president. Former presidents have done this. There's also a separate archive that you can take some of your personal information and put in. Obama did this. That's what Donald Trump was talking about. And Bill Clinton did this as well. None of which, and I mean none of which, is going to be the actual people that they're using on the ground, like highly, highly top secret classified information. Like you can't just like take the nuclear football with you, if I'm not mistaken. And even if Bill Clinton did that, throw him in jail. Hey man, I'm on board with that. If Bill Clinton actually stole nuclear secrets and didn't actually declassify it, even though this seems like he did, he went through the proper channels, throw him in jail. The Clinton case could impact the pending court battle over dozens of boxes in the record. The tug of war began as a quest by the National Archives and then the Justice Department to take control of the material. They claim the documents are presidential records, some of them classified in top secret and not personal records. Oh, you buried the lead there, Washington Times. That's crazy. Hey, Washington Times, I wonder why you did that. I wonder why you mentioned this thing right at the end of the article that completely diminishes the severity of what you are saying in the fucking title itself. Like, how are you going to contradict exactly what you said up here? What it highlights is that under the law, the Justice Department's prior legal positions, if Clinton had the tapes, they are presumably personal. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, told the Washington Times. His group filed an unsuccessful lawsuit seeking the Clinton recordings. Huh. Yeah, except it seems like Bill Clinton followed the protocol. That's great. Let's see what the rest of this
and to
is.
say what's personal and what's not. That's really funny how that's left out of all of the analysis. And everybody, even some friends of mine on the network just say, hey, it's classified. And you know that how? Oh, so you're just assuming, because again, the FBI, the PP tape FBI told you that. So you're just assuming. You don't actually know any of that. And by the way, you ignore that it's a sole
He said PP head.
discretion to leave it on. One more thing
PP tape. Not PP head, sorry. PP tape FBI. That's awesome. That's fire. Thank you, Dan Bongino, once again providing us wonderful content. Trump attorney Alina Habba, by the way, I just got to say, you know, Trump does have some good-looking attorneys, okay? So, I mean, he's going for the television. He's literally very openly showcasing what his job is here. His job is not to get, like, the most like ambulance chasing ass lawyers. His job is literally to get lawyers that just look good on TV and can say the right things.
And they say themselves in these papers that they filed that this is under the Presidential Records Act. So what they did was to try and criminalize Donald Trump, as they always do. They found these 3 mundane statutes, espionage and the 2 others, obstruction. And
She said mundane statutes like espionage. That's like some shit I would say. I would say espionage is often used as a political tool against actual whistleblowers that are doing the heroic thing of like showcasing America's war crimes. You know what I mean? Treason, espionage. Meanwhile, she's like, you know, espionage. Who cares? Who cares about that? I would have never in a million years thought that the entirety of the Republican apparatus would be talking in such terms about like classified details, classified information. It's wild.
And they're trying to claim that there was some sort of criminal activity, but their papers say it's under the Presidential Records Act. So your admission is the power that we've all been saying he does have. So you can take a picture of top secret documents, Charlie, and show the world a label. But if they're declassified, as he has the right to do, then he has the right to have them. And he was working together with NARA, as we know. And that back and forth could have been done at a table as they had been doing for months prior. And they say themselves in these papers that they filed that this is under the Presidential Records Act. So what they did was to try.
It's hard not to agree with her. I'm just saying. Alina Habba is upset that DOJ and FBI are looking into mundane crimes like espionage. Buck, Representative Ken Buck, the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Let's see what he has to say. No Radfem call out. No, someone said, why are you being misogynistic, Hasan?
Understand
they said it already.
That former presidents, former Secretary of States may very well have classified information. He may be writing a memoir. He may be writing an autobiography. And the fact that he had.
The irony of like Radfem saying that I'm being misogynistic is basically the underlying admission that like, no, actually Trump hires very competent lawyers. You know what I mean? Like, no, actually, Sweaty, Trump hired those women because they were incredibly competent lawyers. You're undermining. You're undermining the integrity of Trump's beautiful and very competent and very good lawyers that are currently saying things like, mundane charges like the Espionage Act.
Of course, whatever they were trying to do. I understand that
it's hard not to agree with her. Lol. Yeah, that's a joke. The joke is on me. I'm saying because I'm a stupid man that I'm like, lol. I'm like faking. Do I have to explain every joke to motherfuckers all the time? Here's the joke. Okay, I know you love me and you think like, oh man, Hasan is this guy who's always correct, right? He's always has the good takes. When I'm doing that, okay, when I'm doing like, oh my God, I believe her, I'm not being serious. Clearly, I'm not being serious, as every part leading up to that joke implies that I'm undermining what she's saying, or at least like providing an adequate retort. And then immediately after the joke, I'm still providing adequate retorts to the psychotic things that she's saying on television. However, the joke itself is on me. I'm saying like, I'm a stupid man who thinks with his penis. That's the joke. The joke isn't like, oh, she's a woman, don't listen to her. Lol, only look at how attractive she is. She's an object of desire. The joke is, when you're a stupid man like me, no, I know that there are some people who just cannot comprehend nuance or jokes or whatever. So I'll fucking take the time out and describe it to motherfuckers, okay? Yeah, we're on Twitch. A lot of chatters don't really understand it. They just don't.
Force whatever they were trying to do. I understand that former presidents, former Secretary of States may very well have classified information. He may be writing a memoir. He may be writing an autobiography. And the fact that he had documents in and of itself isn't a concern. How he treated those documents and what negotiations occurred with the archivist, we just don't know at this point.
Yeah, he might just be writing a memoir, you know? First of all, that would mean that Trump knows how to write or read. And I'm pretty sure that's not proven. We don't know that. You don't know that. I don't know that. So why the fuck are you saying that? How dare you? I want to see more Republican reactions to the DOJ filing, though. That is so much more fun to cover than anything else, really. Oh, here it is.
Tomorrow, federal judge Alina Habba will hear arguments. The Trump team says, yes, they want a special master. They'll be in court. Representatives from DOJ say we are way past that point. Not going to happen. Doesn't want it to happen. Again, that court hearing tomorrow, 1 p.m. in West Palm Beach, Florida. Martha.
Okay. Thank you very much, David Spunt. So former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker was once responsible for all FBI criminal investigations. And he joins me now. Chris, great to have you with us. Your analysis of this story all the way through has been really helpful to all of us. What was your reaction to this filing last night and its contents?
Yeah, I think all along I would stipulate that there's a high probability that the president's or ex-president and his people were improperly storing documents that had a high classification. I don't think that's anything new. You know, what I would dispute is, was that the least intrusive means of solving the problem? You know, this actually, you know, there are civil remedies there. You can move for contempt in terms of not complying with the grand jury subpoena. You could continue the negotiations. You know, I didn't see any urgency from the time that the National Archives folks were negotiating up till the time that the search warrant was executed. There didn't seem to be some drop dead date or some, you know, someone was actually in there taking the information and using it to the detriment of the United States. So there's a lot we don't know, but I still think there's a lot of stuff that we do know if you know how the FBI operates and how the Justice Department operates.
There were other ways to get to these documents and to put them back in their proper place if they're not in there now. Right. What did you think about the release of that photo? And this is President. So what did you think of it first? And then I'll show you what the former president thought of it. What did you think?
I was a little shocked to see classified photos in the folders that, you know, the outer covers of these classified documents being photographed and put out on national television.
Oh,
you know,
he's going to say, if they're so serious, I can't believe they took photos of it.
You know, even the color of these covers can give away things. And so, maybe, you don't have X-ray vision to see what's inside of them, but just showing the world the different colored label, the outer covers of them is passing information to our enemies. I don't get it.
Interesting. So really, the former president was probably his most specific and outspoken, and he's said a lot about this on Truth Social. But here's what he said at 8:38 a.m. Terrible the way the FBI during the raid of Mar-a-Lago threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, quote, perhaps pretending it was me that did it, and then started taking pictures of them for the public to see, though they wanted to keep them secret, question mark. Luckily, he says, declassified. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to think that the FBI is acting in good faith here. And look, some of the ex-president's problems are of his own making. His mouth gets him in trouble. He says things. I think this case is unprosecutable the way it's set up right now. But, you know, this whole case is a case of overreach, I think. And despite the president's obstinance, despite all his, you know, all the recalcitrance there, this is a dispute about documents. This is a dispute that was still in discussion at the time that the FBI conducted a raid. I would look at the FBI and say, hey, you're acting in good faith. If I didn't see so many leaks going out right now, that's one of the things that's most disturbing to those of us that know how the FBI operates and the DOJ operates. And you feel like, gosh, we'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but what about all this stuff that's just leaking out and building the case out the back door, if you will?
Yeah, no, it clearly is. This is being fought in pretty open court right now. And every time there's a response from the Trump side, you see, you know, something like this picture of these documents strewn around the floor. Chris Swecker, thank you very much. Good to have you here, sir.
There's nothing funnier than like these dudes who have used their entire lives, like Karl Lerov, as a matter of fact, to do some of the most heinous shit, sell their soul to the fucking devil, and you know, try to maintain America's top position as like this imperialist, bloodthirsty superpower, turning around and caving and trying to defend some of the most asinine shit from Donald Trump that is just personal incompetence. Like so easily fucking dealt with too. Like they could just easily deal with it. Trump could just not be a fucking dickhead.
Liability here. I'm not certain it necessarily yet is the president. You know, having read that document,
oh, there it is.
The FBI developed evidence after they received the boxes, the 15 boxes in January. They developed evidence, meaning that they had somebody who told them those weren't all the boxes that had classified material.
Mm-hmm. I just want to point something out, by the way, with what that other guy said. That photo that we just saw of the photos of all the classified information, that would have never seen the light of day if there wasn't such serious public outcry and public backlash about this investigation championed by Trump himself. So they asked for it, and when they got parts of what they asked for, they're like, how could you do this? How could you release this? Hilarious in and of itself.
Responsive to your subpoena, and here they are, and we didn't keep copies of them. And they say in the filing, the Department of Justice and the FBI say they have multiple sources who said to them there are more classified documents, and they're not just in the storage room, and some of them have moved from the storage room elsewhere. And remember, on June 3rd, the FBI Director of Counterintelligence, who's leading the group of people who are accepting the document, says, can I look through these other boxes here? And the president's lawyer says, no, we've already conducted the diligent search. The custodian who signed that certification saying there are no more classified documents is in trouble, because when they do the raid on August 8th, they say twice as many documents were classified remaining in the boxes in the storage closet than they picked up from them voluntarily on the 3rd of June. So somebody's going to get in trouble. My hope is that this thing goes quiet until after the election, and that that we see more transparency at the appropriate time, meaning the affidavit and how they developed this, but these additional sources of evidence. But they've got at least 3 instances where somebody inside Mar-a-Lago said, January boxes those weren't all the classified documents. What they turned over to you on June 3rd is not all the classified documents, and some of the documents are no longer in that room. They've been moved elsewhere in Mar-a-Lago, and some of them have always been elsewhere in Mar-a-Lago than the storage room.
Yeah, it obviously begs a lot of questions. Why remove certain documents? My biggest question is what was in those documents, and why would they want to hold on to them, specifically those documents? Why would they want to hold those back? But one of the problems is that's its own situation that the DOJ is investigating, and the Trump side has their lawyers and their feelings about what was rightfully his and able to take. But it's just interesting.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear on this. None of these government documents are his to have taken. I agree with the deputy director who said that a lot of the former president's problems are of his own creation. You can, under the Presidential Records Act of 1978, you cannot take original documents out of the White House with you when you leave the White House, whether you're the president of the United States or any of his aides. No, it's verboten under the law. Now, there are no criminal penalties for violating it, but why the former president packed up 20, nearly 30 some odd boxes of material when he had no right to do so? And that's what the government asserts, incidentally, in this filing. They say former president asked for the return of the documents because, as he said in his filing, they were created during his administration, and the response of the government, in their filing was that's evidence that they aren't his. If they were developed in the White House during his time of presidency under the Presidential Records Act, they belong to the government, not to him.
So, there are. I don't know. Mike Davis, you worked in the White House, so you have experience with this. You understand the classification.
Yes, Karl Rove is the reasonable Republican neocon, guys. He does this shit all the time. Don't be fucking duped. He's a war criminal just as bad as Trump, if not worse.
They say he may have stole or misused government property under the Presidential Records Act and other statutes. That's just not possible. There's a 2012 decision by an Obama judge that former presidents can take personal records with them when they leave office. So there goes the obstruction allegations. It's legally impossible to obstruct non-crimes like they're trying to investigate here.
What do you say to that, Karl?
Well, I'm not certain that that's accurate. Again, I'm not a lawyer.
What the
Mark
fuck?
Davis
What
is,
are
but
the
decision in question, the Obama judge decision, was involving, as I understand it, audio tapes of interviews conducted by an author of President Obama during his time in office.
That's
the tapes
so different.
Were in the possession of the author, who was doing an oral history of President Obama, and there was a FOIA request to turn them over, and the court held those were not governmental documents; they were the property of the author. And
yes!
of the oral history, and they were in his possession, not in President Obama's possession.
And it was adequately fucking taken.
That are created by a White House during the time of a presidency are anything but government documents. And we know that that's not the case for Trump, because some of the documents that he had quite literally were top secret. Top secret, like classified intel of people who are working with the espionage, people who are working with fucking clandestine operations. The former president,
the HCS classification shows that they were literally just like,
I want you to return all those documents, and we're going to get a quick answer on that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I got to go, but it's interesting. Everyone remembers with Hillary Clinton that she also didn't turn over all the documents, because then the FBI found that several thousand work-related documents were not turned over. And then we were told that that was nobody would prosecute the case based on it. She also they selectively gave documents over and then, quote, cleaned their devices in such a way as to preclude a complete forensic recovery. So we've been down this road before.
Classified material. And classified material was included in all of that. And classified material passed over a private email server network that she created.
All right. Thank you so much, Karl. Great to have you with us.
You bet.
We'll have more news on that as we are waiting for that new filing.
I've talked about this before. This is my kryptonite. Let's take a look.
It comes down to, why did he have all that secret stuff at Mar-a-Lago? You know, I know his team has said that they declassified it, but that's news to the agencies that those documents belong to. And Governor, he had apparently 3 classified documents in his desk. And then the stuff, as Brian detailed on the floor, it shows 5 yellow folders marked top secret, and another one that says secret SCI, which means sensitive compartmentalized information. Those are the biggest secrets in the world. Why would he, and apparently the former president went through them in January, why wouldn't he say, oh, you know what? I really need to turn that back over. Why did he have all that stuff at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, that's why I think it's important that this is transparent and that we do have someone who's outside of the DOJ looking at this.
Oh, that's why you need transparency.
And talking to people. What is this information? We don't know what.
It's like, hey, we don't understand why this person murdered very openly someone, right? Why do you think they very openly murdered someone? And when the investigation was happening, they were like, oh, yeah, no, I totally did murder someone. Here, I'll explain to you why I did it. And then they found out that, like, no, he actually murdered multiple people. Well, you know, why did he do that? Why did he do such a thing? And then you go, well, actually, I think the criminal justice system is very biased, so we need a random outside person with favorable opinions towards the murderer to fucking turn around and conduct a separate investigation. We'll never know. It's the transparency that we'll get from an outside party. The fuck do you mean?
What was in there? We don't know. I believe President Trump declassified all this information. Let's find out really what the process is, what is right, what's precedent that other presidents have followed, and make sure that this is done correctly.
Governor, I don't think any president has ever carted off that many documents to their house after they left the presidency.
God damn it. Even fucking Papa Douchey's up here. Why is their take? We don't know what the secrets are, and they say it like we should be told what all the classified info is. The irony is that they do that so that they can turn around and be like, I can't believe you revealed this information. If you revealed what is in the secret documents, then that must mean they're not secret at all. They think it's like this funny double bind, right? They personally think that that'll like own everyone if they are able to like get more truth on it or shed more light on what it is. But as days go by and new details emerge, details that the Trump camp has actively sought to reveal when they could have revealed it themselves, by the way, whether it be the, not affidavit, but the Trump camp could have always revealed from the day one the active cooperation that they had with the DOJ. The Trump camp could have revealed from day one that, you know, what the search warrant looked like, right? And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They were like, come on, reveal it. And then the DOJ would reveal it, and they'd be like, oh, fuck. Okay, well, here, look here, listen now. Maybe things are a little bit different than you thought it was. Like, and they would just change the fucking narrative. They would shift goalposts and try to reframe the narrative in a way that, like, makes them look good. But because of that, you kind of run out of options at a certain point.